I make many different kinds of what I call wow cards. These are ordinary playing cards that have been slit and folded into a variety of shapes and designs, some of which have a certain kind of impossible quality to them. Anyone who wants to find out more about my cards and all of the designs that I make can see the full gallery on my website, ianrowland.com. My friend Allen Rolfs in Washington, in America, he put together this fantastic booklet. It's just a brilliant book, all about, it's called Impossible Folding, and that's what it's about. It's about things folded in an impossible way. And he covers all kinds of things. There's currency notes, and there's playing cards, there's things like this dollar bill, all kinds of examples. And it really is a wonderful book. It's great fun, some amazing examples in here. And Allen and I have been corresponding about one particular card that I make, which I said the interesting thing about it is that it actually explains the principle behind every single magic trick and magic illusion that there is or that there has ever been, which is kind of a big claim to make for a single folded playing card. But let me explain what's interesting about it. This is the card, and as I said, this is slit and folded from a single playing card. And here are the main details. This is a hinge point, and this is another hinge point. This is where the folded section actually meets with the rest of the card. And it seems to go around and then to pass under the center of the card, almost like going through a little tunnel. It goes in here, it comes out here, and goes around, and there's the second hinge point. So that's what it looks like. I've done a little diagram that shows what it looks like. Hinge point, it goes around, passes underneath the middle of the card, and then is connected at this hinge point. There's no glue. Nothing is cut and then joined back. It's purely done by slitting and folding. And here's a larger version, which perhaps makes it even easier to see. There is the hinge point here as well. It goes around, underneath, and is connected there. Remember, there's no glue here. This is purely by slitting and folding. Everything, in theory, this card can be unfolded back to a single, flat, plain piece of card. This design is actually impossible. It can't be done. Some people can understand this just by visualizing it. Some people can understand it in a kind of a common sense way. Some people understand the mathematical or topological reasoning behind it. But it is actually impossible for any card to actually have that structure, to have two hinge points here and to pass underneath the center of the card itself. That can't be done. It's literally impossible. But nonetheless, this card gives a very strong impression that that's what happens. And people who look at it, they see one continuous curved section that seems to do exactly that. Hinge point, and pass underneath the middle of the card. If we turn the card around, we'll see what's actually going on. This is the back of the card, and these here are the sections that your eye thinks are continuous. This is what registers as being a continuous curve. Now in fact, they don't meet at all. There's a gap here. This upper section is hinged here, and it never crosses the center point or the equator of the card. The section, the upper half, stays in the upper half, and the other folded section is hinged here, and again it never goes north of the equator. So the north part stays north, the southern part stays south. They never cross. They are completely separate. There's a gap here. Nonetheless, this is what seems to be continuous. Now, even when you know this, and this is really the fun part, even when you know that this is the actual structure, look what happens when I turn the card around again. As soon as I do, your eye tells you once again that this is a continuous section. It just does. That's what your eye and your brain tells you. You know it's like that. You know that in fact they're separate, there's a gap. But as soon as I turn it around, you get this effect. And it works just as well on the small one, like that. Why does this happen? Simply because this is an easier, more accessible cognitive model. It's easier for your brain to assume that this is one continuous, sinuous kind of curve than it is to appreciate the actual structure. So that is complicated, counterintuitive, and something you've never met before, whereas this is simple. It appears intuitively easy to understand, and you have encountered it before. We've all seen shapes like that in nature and in design. The letter S, for example. We've all seen things like this. Lots of decorative shapes have that kind of design to them. This is something we've never seen. And so this is just an easier to reach, easier to understand, easier to access cognitive model than that one. And so that's the one that the human brain actually goes with. This is the same for all magic tricks. I'm a magician, I'm a member of the Magic Circle, I'm very pleased and proud to be a member of the Magic Circle, and every time that a magician presents a trick, a successful trick or illusion, it's the same thing. What he or she is doing, there will always be the same difference. Over here will be a slightly complicated model, that's what he or she is actually doing, and over here will be a simplified model, the one that's easier to reach, easier to understand. And so that's the one that your brain presents to you as the perception of what you're seeing. So this is a very simple card that you can, somebody can carry around and just keep in their wallet or purse or whatever. And yet, in and of itself, just by showing that side and that side, you have an explanation or an allegory, if you like, for every single magic trick and illusion that there's ever been.